What's poppin', everybody? First and foremost, as always, I extend my utmost fraternal love and respect to all of you and hope this video finds you residing within the highest of spirits and doing well on this fine day. So, first and foremost, before I get into the topic of this story, uh, I want to say thank you to Dubs. I saw that he did a video regarding the one that I made on the tragic unaliving of my son. And I just want to say thank you, man, for the sentiments and um, the kind words, man, and the reflection that it had you make on yourself, man. And I know that that probably wasn't easy. And I agree. I think more people do need to see that video, and I think it's important, man. And I thank you for that, brother. And I thank you for sharing that moment of vulnerability with everybody, brother. And I thank those that came over from his channel and showed love and extended condolences. I know it's not easy. It's hard to even find the words to say in a situation like this, but I thank those that did. And that brings me to the next topic, man. If you haven't subbed up, it's free. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you like the content. And let's go ahead and get into the main topic of this video. So I'm not going to use any names, but I will just go ahead and say that the gentleman was from Orange County. And I'll say that it was in Lancaster. And I'm going to say that whether you're on an S&Y yard or a mainline yard, if you carry yourself with any type of dignity, any type of respect, you would never allow an SO or anybody with them type of charges to live with you, let alone just be in your vicinity and hanging out with you, right? And even on S&Y yards, believe it or not, people check paperwork and know who they funk with. They don't just move with anybody. So this guy from Orange County, his cellie had left. Sometimes, your cellie may parole, they may transfer, whatever the case may be, and you end up getting a cellie off the bus. And that's exactly what happened. And the first day, dude moved in. The guy from Orange County had a weird feeling. So, he offered his paperwork and said, "Hey, man, I'd like to see your paperwork. I just, I like to know who I live with." And dude said, "Well, I have to get it from my counselor tomorrow." So tomorrow came around and dude didn't get his paperwork. And the dude from Orange County started feeling some kind of way about it. And he told dude, like, "Hey, man, I need to know, man, what's up with you, man?" And he wouldn't talk to him about his charges. And that's all the dude from Orange County needed to know. So he went and told the cops, "Hey, I don't know what's up with this dude, but you better get him out of my cell or I'm gonna unalive him tonight." And they said, "Well, just go ahead and do it." So that's all it took, man. This dude from Orange County had life. He was never getting out. There's always that possibility, and I'm sure he had hope. And that's probably why he told him, "Hey, get dude out of my cell." But yeah, that's all it took. And let's go ahead and get into what happened. So that night, at 9 o'clock, the cops will do their final count for that shift, and they will throw the bars at the end of the tier. At the end of every tier, there's a bar, and the cops will unlock the box and throw the bar, and that enables the tower cop from opening any doors in the middle of the night. Right, so they're all in order for the tower cop to open a door, somebody has to come and literally throw that bar so they can open the door. So after they threw the bars and 10 o'clock came around, they did shift change. At that time, there's only one cop in the building, and that's in the tower. And when they come up in the night shift, they close the windows, and that's it. They're chilling. So the guy from Orange County started tying one on with some Pruno that night. And once they threw the bar and did shift change, he went ahead and made his move. And on this yard, all the doors are perforated. And what I mean by perforated is it's not like a cell door that has a window that's solid. It's a cell door that's full of a bunch of holes. And there's no plexiglass on them. So you hear everything. So all of a sudden, man, I'm laying on my bunk, chilling, watching some TV, and I just hear a big old loud thud, bang. And I get up, I'm like, what the hell? And then I hear an old boy from Orange County, and he had a very distinctive voice. And anybody that may know what I'm talking about and know this story will know exactly who I'm talking about. But the individual had a very distinctive voice. And he proceeded to smack this dude after he yanked him off the second bunk. And when he yanked him off the second bunk, apparently he hit the bottom locker, the floor, and then the guy from Orange County proceeded to smack him and call him, derogatory names that would pertain to somebody that was an SO. At that time, people started to kind of cheer this gentleman from Orange County on. And like I said, he was drinking. So, it didn't take much cheering needed. And he had life, like I said, he might have had the ability to get out, but he obviously wasn't focused on that, and his focus was dealing with the issue at hand. So he proceeded to beat dude, and he beat him with what is called a state cup. And when you get to an institution in California, they give you it's either an 8-ounce or a 6-ounce cup, and it's very hard plastic, hard plastic. And I've seen a couple dudes get knocked out with these things on the tier. But if you take your finger and you grab that cup just right, man, you can beat somebody's face in with it. And that's exactly what this dude from Orange County proceeded to do. He proceeded to beat dude with this state cup. And he beat him until he was no longer breathing. He ended up writing on the walls in the man's blood, F a PDF file. I'm trying to be YouTube friendly, but you get what I'm saying. F an SO, an S offender. I'm sure you can get what I'm putting down. So he wrote on the walls in the dude's blood, and then after that, he went ahead and wrapped him up in a white sheet and he put him on the top bunk. Now, after 10 o'clock, the cops every 2 hours do a count. So every two hours, they'll walk by and they'll do a count. So now everybody's waiting, right? They know this dude's no longer saying anything. He's no longer crying out. Dude from Orange County is pretty quiet. There's not a whole lot of nothing happening at this point. So we're all just waiting for this cop to come by and do count. I mean, we're trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm standing at the door, and sure enough, this cop, he was a youngster. We didn't know at the time, but he was a youngster and he was a rookie. And I guess when he came up to the door, this is what he saw. He saw the top bunk with somebody wrapped in a sheet with the whole face area just a bloody mess. So through the sheet, it was just bloody mess through the facial area, right? And I'm sure there was blood everywhere else too, but that's... And the guy from Orange County was just sitting on the bunk drinking some more wine, watching TV, and told him, "Hey, you need to get dude the fuck out of my cell." The cop began to stutter and make some weird noises and hit the alarm and ran down the stairs. I think that kid was scared to fucking death. So the cops, obviously, sergeant, everybody responds. They end up pulling the gentleman from Orange County out and took him out the building. And I didn't see that gentleman until later on in the shoot. But I digress. Come to find out, there was teeth all over the cell. He really took it to this guy. And come to find out, the guy had multiple accounts on children. So salute to the gentleman from Orange County for handling that business on some creep individual, that likes to touch children. But, all you youngsters watching, I just want you to listen to that. And listen to what I just, kind of told you, and think about it, because it's not just SOs that this happens to, right? Um, Things happen politically in there, and anybody's life can be taken in there for various reasons. And I implore you, man, if you're heading down that path, that road, think about it, man. Think about it. Because while what that individual from Orange County did sounds of valor and might sound like something, a warrior would do, and you may be right. You may just very well be right. But just know that that sword can also be used on somebody that's solid. They don't have to be an SO. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. And that saying is very true. And the politics in there are very cutthroat. And you have to walk a very, very fine line. And if you're not careful, there's a lot of landmines you can step on in there. And in doing so, you can end up just like that SO that lost his life with the prison steak cup. So I just wanted to go ahead and get this out there to you guys as promised tonight. I hope everybody is doing well and blessed. Again, thank you so much for everybody that is subbed up. We have far surpassed 10,000. We were almost at 11,000 subs. I thank you guys so much. Let's push on and try and hit 100,000 by the end of the year. That's the goal. We're going to keep going with this content. I have lots of stories to tell, some of my own, some, like this one of being in the building and being there when something transpires. Um, Again, I'm waiting on my own RVRs. What RVRs are rule violation reports. Anytime you get into an incident in the state of California, you get a rules violation report, a 115. You also get what's called a 114D lockup order. So if you end up going to the hole and to the shoe, you're going to end up getting what's called a 114D lockup order. And I'm getting those. So I can just go ahead and do a story for each one, and kind of tell you what happened and transpired behind the incident and show you the actual RVR so you can see it with your own eyes. So I'm working on that, and I think that'll be cool, So anyways, the content will continue to come. And just please bear with me, guys. I just lost my son in May on Mother's Day, literally on Mother's Day. My son was taken at 2:30 in the afternoon. His life was taken at 2:30 in the afternoon on Mother's Day in broad daylight. So I'm still very much going through a process of complete anger 1 minute, complete sobbing and tears the next, and just walking a very fine line right now and doing my best not to end up in prison myself again. I'm constantly reminding myself of everything I have to lose, everything I'm blessed with, and what it was like behind those walls. But until next time, man, much love and respect to all of you. Deuces.